Welcome to another episode of Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics fuss about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Byrd.
Great to be with you guys. Today on the show, a couple of movies. One is on its way out. One just opened. We're going to review The Marvels, the latest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 5. We're in Phase 5, right? Or is this Phase 4 still?
No, we're out of 4. Yeah, because
we're in Phase 5. Yeah, we're in Phase 5.
Spider-Man was the end of 4, wasn't it?
There you go. Exactly.
No, it was the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday
special. Oh, yeah.
So officially fully in Phase 5 with The Marvels. Then we're going to review the new Hunger Games movie. And then we'll do our guilty pleasures. This time, Unnecessary Prequels edition. That might be selling out one of our reviews a little bit early. We'll end with coming attractions as always. Before we dig into the Marvels, though, we have to listen to a little bit of the trailer. Here it is.
Carol Danvers, prodigal child of the Milky Way.
Nick Fury, my favorite one-eyed man of intrigue.
How goes it out there?
Cold, no air, space.
Captain Marvel, the Annihilator. You took everything from me. And now I'm returning the favor.
Okay, Adam, take us through this one.
All right. Well, we've got Brie Larson back as Captain Marvel. This takes place obviously later in the future, but her actions in her first movie, as far as destroying the Supreme Intelligence, has led to a civil war on the Kree homeworld, which has launched Dar-Benn, Kree general played by Zawe Ashton, to try to get revenge. And due to her actions, we find out that Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, played by Teyonah Parris, and Miss Marvel, played by Iman Vellani, because they have light powers, they get quantum entangled, and every time they use their powers simultaneously, they switch places, they teleport. So as they're trying to get a hold of that and keep Miss Marvel from fangirling over Captain Marvel, they got to find some way to fix this, work together, and essentially save the galaxy.
That's it in a nutshell. And that entanglement swapping you can see in the trailer. That's kind of the conceit of the film. That's why they're all three together. That's the funny part of this. I was surprised by how funny this movie actually is. It's very light in terms of its content, in terms of its seriousness. It's more in the line of a Guardians movie or where Thor has gone than an Avengers level drama.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the joy that was there for like Phase 1 when they were still kind of on unshaky ground. They had a hit, but they were like, we're just kind of having fun with this. And it kind of brought back that feeling that, and I don't really count the Guardians movies because it's James Gunn and he's a genius. I had fun at this movie. I had a smile on my face. And sometimes Marvel movies don't give you that.
Oh, no, definitely not. And they don't always nail ensemble casting perfectly. Most of these movies are solo things. There's always sidekicks and people that are there with the heroes. But to have multiple heroes in one movie, that's usually been reserved for Avengers level experiences. But this is really kind of a three-way buddy movie, isn't it, Brooks?
Oh yeah, it's great to see all of them together because they're all friends in some way or another. You've got Kamala fangirling nonstop because she's obsessed with Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel obviously has a lot of history with Monica. So it's just great to see them play off each other in different ways and on different levels about different things, instead of just being three comrades brought back together to hold the universe in place.
The performances are fun. The story's fun. Do you think the stakes are high enough to be a Marvel story in this one, Adam? Because I personally found the central conflict to be a little bit thin, and the character of the Kree general super underwritten for how serious things were supposed to feel. I mean, what did you think, Adam?
We've talked about in the past that Marvel generally has a villain problem. And it's not that Dar-Benn's motivations were bad. I mean, if I had to do anything I could to save my homeworld and my family, like I would do anything. But I
liked that it was more personal.
Yes, it was very personal. It was very like,
at least the reason for it.
Like Baron Zemo back in the other movies. So I did like that, but unfortunately, they keep her so one note. They don't allow her to be very interesting. She's
they
just
could
out
have
there
at the end.
Oh, they could have, yeah, and they had that chance, but they didn't do it.
They just had to bring us back to the multiverse.
I think Marvel has done the personal villain two different ways. I'm glad you mentioned Zemo, because I don't consider that to be one of their better villains. I think he's one of the weakest villains they ever had. And that's a personal story, sure, but I thought he was really flat. The one time they did personal story excellently well in a villain was Killmonger, of course. So if you've got these two ends of the spectrum, Zemo and Killmonger, I thought Darben was closer to Zemo in a bad way than she was to Killmonger.
I mean, Zemo was the only one who really won, though. So, I mean, there's that.
Everybody does always say that, but it doesn't mean he won the script.
No, so the world's in danger, blah, blah, blah. That's stereotypical comic stuff. But yeah, so the danger of the villain and what they were trying to accomplish wasn't galaxy or universe changing like a Thanos. And we know that she wasn't set up to be the big bad for this phase. I mean, that was Kang, but we'll see where that goes. So from a personal standpoint, yeah, I think they did a great job of explaining why she was doing what she was doing. But at the end of the day, with such these like multiple universes and the cosmic forces and all these galaxies, like if she would have won, it wouldn't have really done anything outside of the wormholes and everything else. That would have had some problems. But, you know, her ultimate goal to get revenge on Captain Marvel wouldn't have really changed the universe.
Brooks, how do you think Brie Larson is doing with this character now? Do you think she's still selling it as Captain Marvel?
I think it's definitely a better performance than, say, in Captain Marvel. But in Captain Marvel, she did what she was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Kree soldiers are supposed to be non-emotional, and, you know, they have a lot of weight to their character, and they're in the army nonstop. Here, she's obviously got to warm up a little, and she's with her friends. She's back with Monica. She's also spending most of her time with Fury and her Flurkin sidekick. So,
oh my goodness, the Flurkin. So, if you haven't seen it,
the movie stealer.
Yeah, you're going to recall from the first one, the Flurkin, which was the cat.
Goose.
Which was the cat that's not really a cat. Let's just say that in this movie, they explore that race fully.
If any character got an arc, it was Goose.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And that was really unexpected. And I thought at first, boy, is this going to be too silly? But it's not. It does work.
And it works in favor of the script as well.
It does.
And it serves a purpose.
As a story point, it makes a lot of sense. And as a moment of levity in this often too serious universe, I thought it really made sense. Adam, how did you think the funny stuff was handled here? Do you think it was silly, or do you think they got the tone right?
It was silly, and I think I walked out with Brooks and you, and I was like, hey, I love how much this embraces its silly comic book roots, because a lot of comic books are silly. I love the fact that we got to kind of see a lighthearted side of Nick Fury. Like, there was a joke that he made that I laughed for 2 minutes straight and missed part of the movie because it was that funny. And I like that. I mean, we don't need all of our superheroes to be dark and gritty and Batman, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but
those movies have their place.
They do. And I love those movies. But it is kind of nice to have that breather where, yeah, there's world-shattering possibilities happening, but we can still have some fun. Like the musical Planet, I thought was great. It's a planet where everyone has to sing, and then they start talking and someone talks. They're like, well, how can he understand what we're saying? Like, oh, he's bilingual. Like, that got a good laugh out of me.
Yeah, me too.
And they're speaking English, by the way, so it's not as if they're speaking a different language.
Well, it's Marvel. Everybody speaks English everywhere. That's just
eventually, yeah.
It's just one of the things that everyone accepts.
It was yeah. There were some good lighthearted moments, and I will say it has the best use of the song "Memory" anywhere, and I'm including the original musical it came from.
Honestly, we just sort of told you why it works so well. You'll have to sort of mine that out of what we've said for yourself, but definitely see it. Yes. That was an excellent use of a song. There's no question about it. I want to talk about one thing which has always bothered me with the Captain Marvel character. And I realize we're going to be getting into the nerd weeds here, but that's fine. We spend a lot of time there. She does things in this movie. She's done things in all her movies that are so magnificently, unimaginably powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she ever in a fist fight? I just don't understand that inconsistency in her powers. She can fly straight through Ronan the Accuser's ship, but she has to fight someone with her bare knuckles. I don't get that. Adam, you're the comic book guy. Could you help me with this?
That's a Marvel thing.
That's a DC thing. Think about it. Think about
they
Superman.
both do it.
Superman has heat rays. He has cold breath. He can punch you up to the stratosphere, but he still gets in fights and he controls himself. And I think the reason why we see something like Captain Marvel, which does make her a more interesting character, is when you have someone with that, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. She has that responsibility to pull her punches to keep herself from going to a point where she essentially does become a god, because who's going to stop her? I mean, yeah, Dar-Benn has the little axe or hammer thing she uses, and with some other the MacGuffins, the Bengals and MacGuffins grants her that much power. But I think it's more interesting when you have a character who could be a god but chooses to live among mortals and act like, yeah, I've got superpowers and I could punch you into the moon, but I'm not going to.
So you don't see it as a plot inconsistency. You see it as an actual feature of her character, that she does in fact pull her punches in that way.
That's how I see it. Is that
I
think? Is that how Marvel sees it? I don't
grounded,
know, but
keeps herself grounded. When
I like it. You've given me a way to make peace with that discrepancy, and I like it. I'm just.
This is why you're here, Adam.
This is why I'm the comic book guy, and actually,
I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah. So whether or not they meant to do it, that's how I interpret it.
How do we feel about how this movie moves the ball in Phase 5? Because Phase 5 is in this weird place right now. Everything that's happening with Jonathan Majors is confusing. The shows, I know that I haven't seen Loki yet, but apparently it's one of the greatest payoffs that Marvel has given us since the Avengers. So don't say another word, but I want to see that, and I'm going to do it soon. How do you feel about how the Marvels positions the movies that are to come?
I mean, I think it's a standalone. I don't think it does. Now, that said, there is a mid-credit scene.
I was like, wait a minute.
All I can say is that mid-credit scene is huge.
Yeah.
Definitely stick around for that.
No end credit scene, so you can get up and go pee after that.
Right.
But aside from that, this is a standalone movie. It doesn't do anything to move Phase 5 forward or push anything with, unless they tie some things in later on. But this exists in a vacuum.
Because Kang's not in it. They do show Nick Fury and what he's up to, but you're right. The consequences of this are really self-contained. It's not going to splash onto any of the other projects, I don't think.
Well, aside from the end, but
that had huge ramifications, of course. Not only huge story ramifications, huge global brand ramifications.
I look at it as like a bridge movie where it kind of like sprinkles some references to things that have happened, but it's still just kind of self-contained. And sometimes I like those. Even the Guardians movies are mostly self-contained.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're self-contained not only individually, but as a set. I mean, there's a real arc that ends with Gunn.
But I kind of enjoy those because it's like, okay, you can watch it and not have to sit and try to piece a million things together.
I mean, we'll probably see those characters again, but I wonder, other than the show with Kamala Khan, if we're going to see the Marvels do anything going forward. I would like to.
We could.
Box office.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about that a little bit. This is one of the most disappointing openings in Marvel history. It's a bomb.
I think it's even lower than
lowest
Hulk.
ever.
Yeah.
And it's got Disney really worried. They're going to pump the brakes on a lot of projects.
Which isn't a horrible thing.
It's not a horrible thing because there's been a glut of content.
But it's for the wrong reason.
Yeah, it's definitely for the wrong reasons. Them to hit the brakes on the MCU is a disappointing reaction to this. Them to be more choosy and focus on quality control would be a great reaction to this. So I'm hoping it's the latter and not the former.
Well, I mean, if one good thing, aside from what the writers and the actors got out of with their new contract, is because of that, the only Marvel movie we're getting next year is Deadpool 3.
Right.
And I think that's a really good thing.
I think so too. Give it some space.
That's how it used to be.
All right, let's get to scores. Brooks, you go first. What did you think of The Marvels?
Like I said, I like that it's a bridge between what's happened and where it's going. And it's just tons of fun, lots of laughs more than anything. Yeah, it suffers from the lackluster villain MCU problem. But I mean, I came to enjoy myself and that's what happened. And I hope everyone else can as well and get past the trolls online and go see it because it's way better than anyone's expecting. So I'd have to go with probably at least, I'm kind of torn between 3 and 3.5 because.
Well, go with your gut.
Yeah, I'll go with 3.5 then.
Okay, 3.5. That's a good score. Adam, where are you?
I'm also going to join in with Brooks at a 3.5. It is a lot of fun. It totally dives into its comic book zaniness. Iman Vellani, she is the heart of this movie. Her portrayal of Miss Marvel and she brings a joy. And so many times we see people like, oh, I've got superpowers. It's a curse. Like, well, she likes having superpowers. And that's, I would like having superpowers if I had some. It's funny. It's entertaining. You walk out with a big smile on your face. And I will say that for all the neckbeards and everyone out there who keep on laugh reacting and trying to troll my review post on Big Shiny Robot's Facebook page, you're just driving the engagement up, and it's actually one of our most read stories probably the last couple of years now. So thank you. You've really helped out with that. So you're awesome.
Well done, guys.
Take that, woke police.
I am a fan of this movie, just like you guys. To me, it's a 3 out of 4. I'm going to give it 3 stars. And I agree about Iman Vellani. We all wanted to see Grant Gustin get a chance to jump from the small screen to the big screen. It never did happen in Flash. She did it. She jumped from Disney Plus to the big screen, and it was seamless. She was not awed by anything around her. She was fully present and awesome in her role. So I agree about her. I think the movie is fun. I think the fact that it is a little on the silly side is probably what keeps me from joining you guys at 3.5. I had probably more eye rolls than you guys did. But
you usually do.
It's true. It's really good. I loved it. I'm at 3 stars. So Brooks, you're at
3.5.
Adam?
3.5.
And I'm at 3 stars. Please go see it. Please continue to support the MCU. When we come back, we're going to talk about something very different, the Hunger Games prequel.
Speaking of eye rolling.
We'll be right back after this short break. We're back on Big Movie Mouth Off. We're going to talk about Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Before Brooks takes us through the story, let's listen to a little bit of the trailer.
What happens in there, fueled with the terror of becoming prey. See how quickly we become predator? See how quickly civilization disappears?
There's a natural goodness built into us all. We can step across that line into evil, or not.
All right, Brooks, try to make sense out of that.
So we're back in Panem, and a young Snow, this is 3 days before the first Hunger Games, and then jumps to the 10th.
As you do.
And now we've got, so now we've got Snow, and he's got a price to pay, and Highbottom has a vendetta out for him. He teams him up with Lucy Gray, played by Rachel Ziegler. Oh, Tom Blythe is Snow, by the way, whoever he is. And they have to make it through the games, whether they get help from Dr. Gall or not, who is the driving force of the movie for me, because she should have been the movie.
Because it's Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Basically what you're saying, Brooks, is this is an origin story movie for Coriolanus Snow, the Donald Sutherland character in all of the Hunger Games movies before. And essentially, like Brooks says, he gets teamed up with one of the tributes. He's supposed to mentor her. They go through the Hunger Games, and
there's a
I
prize.
think you can tell by the trailer that they kind of fall for each other. So there's this.
What?
Yeah.
But it's a young adult novel. How could that happen?
I'm not sure, but there seems to be some attraction there. And we're struggling to give you a coherent plot on this movie because it's pretty overstuffed, this script, and it's difficult to keep track of things both big and small. And we'll come back to the small one. But Adam, what was your reaction to this experience? Whether or not you thought it was a necessary experience, what'd you think of the movie?
So I've been saying that this is the Hunger Games at home, because it took everything interesting about the original series, which I actually really do enjoy the books and the movies, despite the fact they split the final movie into 2.
Yeah, I love the first movie.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's
the second movie. Actually, I like that one the most.
Fully influenced by Battle Royale, probably stole a lot from there. But it was an interesting world. It was very stereotypical for us now, but at the time, it was kind of introducing this dystopian future, much like Twilight did with vampires and fan fiction movies. But with this, it was like, I didn't care. They did a really, really poor job of taking Corleone Snow, or however you say his name, I don't care. Let's call him Snow. So he does this thing kind of like Darth Vader does in the Revenge of the Sith, where he just suddenly is like, nope, fine, I'm bad. See ya. I'm done with it. And it felt like he was a drunken sailor trying to walk a line instead of like inching across this tightrope.
There was no real reason for anything he did.
Yeah, it was like, if he had that moral compass, or like trying to be the good guy that they're trying to portray him as, like his descent into darkness would have been much tighter coordinated. He would have been much more worried about it, but he does stupid crap and mean things the whole movie. It's like white lies of evil things. So when he finally at the end decides, hey, I'm going to be evil, like, it's coming because this is a prequel.
Yeah.
And the journey getting there wasn't interesting. Yeah, it was filled with pretty people and too many songs, but I just didn't care. Like, I got up at the end, I'm like, well, that was something I saw.
The songs were definitely an issue. She's a very good singer, of course, but
she was Maria from West Side Story.
Right. She's very good, but it was way too much of that. There was way too much singing. And I agree with you about how the Snow character was treated in this film. This movie had one job, and it was to get us from the earnest, conflicted young Snow to the Donald Sutherland character.
Yes.
That was its job. It was to get us from A to that eventual Z that he becomes. It was supposed to do what the Star Wars prequels did for Anakin. Good or bad, that was their job as well. And he is so inconsistent as a character. One minute, he's moralizing to his buddy about holding the line and following the military corporate ethic. And another minute, he's willing to do almost anything, including kill people to maintain his relationship with Lucy Gray. He is all over the map as a character, and I didn't find it believable. I found it to be disjointed, almost like there were several different films being made at the same time, like different directors walked in on a different day. It had that level of disconnectedness to it for me. I also feel like Pan Am is a world that has gone stale. I just don't think there are stories worth telling in this space anymore. When it first happened, the first movie, it opened the world for the Maze Runners and Divergence and all that other stuff that happened. But we've seen too much of that now. And going back, to me, just wasn't interesting. Did you feel like Brooks The Place had anything new to say?
No, and I didn't think it would with it being a prequel because we've seen it all and we've seen it on a much bigger scale. I mean, that's the problem with prequels is everything is supposed to, it's still supposed to also function as kind of a sequel. So it's still got to have that grandiose feel to it. But then it's also got to work in where everything is still smaller because the world's supposed to be getting built up to what it becomes. And yeah, it's just, it doesn't work on either level because it feels bigger, which completely contradicts how you're supposed to feel.
You're bringing up something that I found also in the Fantastic Beasts movies. And we've talked about this before, the three of us, and Jimmy and I certainly talked about it. The magic that they can do based on the special effects and movie, capabilities now is so much better than anything.
But it's
Harry Potter was basically holding a sparkler. And in those movies, which are supposedly happening generations before, they're doing Inception level, like moving towns around and stuff. It was, I do find that inconsistency between the abilities and the size of the world, as you just said, a little bit jarring. Adam, you said you liked the originals. Were you excited to go back, or did it feel stale to you too?
I was hesitantly optimistic. I think that's how I am with any movie that I'm not sure about. Like, we're going to see Wonka this week coming up, and I want to like it. I really wanted to like this one, and that's almost worse than going into a movie you're pretty sure is going to be bad. It's like, it crushes that hope. That's like the worst thing a movie can do. And yeah, there was nothing there. I will say the one thing I wish would have happened was we had a movie that was fully focused on Dr. Volumnia Gall, who is played by Viola Davis, who knows what movie she's in. She knows this is not a good movie.
Well, but she knows she's in a different movie.
She's going to have the time of her life doing that. And that was an interesting character. And I haven't read the book, and I might, just because to be a completionist, I feel like they could have taken Snow and kind of either like had his turn earlier on and then progressed through the years, maybe new actors aging him up, and show how he created the games to be what they are now, because that was a very big thing. He was adding things to them that had never been there before and interacting in ways. And it just felt like a wasted opportunity because we knew he's going to go bad, but the journey to get there wasn't fun.
And super unbelievable and incredibly hard to follow. And one of the things that made the original, I almost said trilogy, tetralogy.
I mean, it's technically a trilogy.
Yeah, but one of the things that made those movies fun was how kind of ridiculous the adults were with their antique names and their crazy clothes and their just unbelievably insane attitudes about what was happening around them. That was what was fun about those originals. You get a little bit of that with Viola Davis because, as you said, Adam, she's all in. She leans all the way into this character in a fun way. And Jason Schwartzman is in it as the Stanley Tucci role this time around, and he's good. Got a couple of great lines, but generally speaking, I'm kind of tired of that world with the nutty adults with the silly names. It just doesn't track for me anymore.
It's like Madeline Kahn from Blazing Saddles.
Honestly, yeah, it's on that level. Absolutely.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything about this that worked for you, Brooks? I mean, was there any part of it where you thought, okay, yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, is that I do like that part of Snow's conflict in this is that a lot of the stuff that he does is kind of accidental. a lot of the time. And I liked that. But then for that kind of scenario, you know, he's accidentally killing people or leading people to their deaths. To lead him to be some big bad guy just does not ring true at all, because it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, like, serial killer movies aren't about people accidentally killing people.
What, did you trip and fall on my knife over and over and over again?
Right? It makes no sense whatsoever. And that's my biggest issue with him.
But Adam, he didn't just accidentally kill people. He on purpose killed people sometimes, and he on purpose felt bad about it sometimes, and on purpose, you know,
which goes along
justified
with the conflict.
Yeah, well, I found the conflict to be super shallow because it wasn't earned. There was nothing about his backstory. We didn't get nearly enough of it to make his wildly inconsistent behavior make sense. He was so put together. He had singular vision for what his life was going to be at the beginning of the film. It was very clear what he wanted to happen. And as that unravels a little bit, he does too. I understand, you know, he's going to become a little less buttoned up. But what was underneath that original character was an absolute psychopath, and they just didn't sell that from the beginning.
Yeah, and the one thing I said about Pixels, the movie, the Adam Sandler movie, that this one also annoyed me about was I love Peter Dinklage, and Peter Dinklage couldn't save either of this movie or that one. That's a pretty damning statement.
Of all the things I could have predicted from this episode, a Pixels reference would not have come to mind. That's incredible. But you're right. Peter Dinklage is in both, and he does play High Bottom, the nemesis character for Snow. I think that's what we agreed we're going to call him. And you're right, Adam. He's always good. That guy is always good.
Oh yeah, he was great. And
but he and Viola Davis and Jason Schwartzman, as good as they were, could not carry this.
No.
One thing that the earlier movies had was, as wild and crazy as they made the adults, those movies had Jennifer Lawrence. And I'm sorry, there's no Jennifer Lawrence in the tribute part of this film. There's just no one that's got her gravitas. She outgrew those movies towards the end, and it started to feel like they were ill-fitting for her. She just was too good for them. But there was no one on the cast of young people that I think has the chops to carry it. All due respect to them. Maybe it's the way they were written. It just wasn't enough.
Well, and it could also be just the way it was directed too, because you look at Robert Pattinson, who wasn't great at all in the Twilight movies, and he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He just didn't have the right material. So
I'm not sure what else there is to say. I think we should probably score it. I'll go first since I came out so hot on this. I'm at 1.5 stars because I feel like it was well shot. It looks good. I think the Hunger Games themselves are pretty boring, because to even call them games plural is ridiculous. It's really just one thing that happens to the kids.
It was in this, yeah.
Yeah, but even though the setup is interesting, I didn't find myself craving anything about Pan Am again in my life. And I didn't think the performances were very good. And I just thought the character arc of Snow was just tonally all over the place. So 1.5 for me. Adam, where are you?
1.5 as well, actually. Pretty much for all the same reasons you said. It's full of really pretty people in a very ugly world, but you just don't care about any of them. The reason why Snow is doing what he does and the way he meanders his way through his downfall never really clicks. If anything else, the very last line when he explains to the doctor, the game maker, why the Hunger Games exist, I knew what he was going to say, and I'm like, don't you do it. You did not earn that.
No.
You did not earn that line. And then they did it, and I was like, well, at least it's over.
Speaking of the earlier movies, there are a couple of references to it that are maybe the biggest groaner Easter eggs I have ever heard in film.
And makes so little sense.
It sounded like they were recorded 6 months after the film was done and patched in. Terrible. So 1.5 for Adam and I. Brooks, are you going to break the logjam here?
Well, I mean, I guess if you say, because I'm going to go with 1 star.
Ooh.
The other thing that makes this one, I mean, I don't really have much else to add, except that it's more depressing how bad this is, considering the director, Francis Lawrence, also did Catching Fire and the 2 Mockingjay movies. He's directed all but the first one. So how do you go so wrong here? Which only leads us back, I'm sure, to the source material.
There's just not enough meat left on this bone. I think Pan Am is played out. I think they should let it be what it was. It was a product of its time, a really good one, I thought. And this movie just didn't do the legacy of that story much justice. So I'm at 1.5. Adam?
1.5.
Brooks?
1.
This movie was a swing and a miss. I'm sorry to say it. And it's pretty obvious now why our guilty pleasures are unnecessary prequels. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about those. back now on Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Bird.
Guilty Pleasures, gentlemen. Unnecessary Prequels edition. Adam, you go first.
Okay, I want to see if you can possibly guess this. So it involves made-for-TV movies around Return of the Jedi.
Is it an Ewok movie?
Ewok Christmas
Ewok
special.
movies. No, they actually did 2 full Ewok movies where the main character was Wicket, and it was Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, and Ewoks: The Battle for Endor.
Isn't
I'm not
it
even
the
sure the
girl
Chris-
with the curly hair?
Yes, she's in both of them. The first one is
Yeah.
her family gets
I've
kidnapped.
seen these.
The Ewoks try to help rescue her family. And then the second one, she's the only one alive, and she has to find a grumpy old cuss and fix their starship and leave Endor. And this is maybe what's funny is I love Star Wars, but I was like 10 years old before my parents told me there were sequels. So all I had growing up was the first Star Wars and these movies, and I watched them nonstop, and they are not good. They are horrible.
Really? They didn't let you know that there was Empire and
No,
Jedi?
I found out when they bought the VHS tapes when I was like 10.
What are these?
The Christmas movie, that doesn't have Ewoks, that's Wookiees, but
Oh
yeah, for Life
but-
Day.
The most
Yeah.
terrifying Wookiees ever.
totally.
So honestly, this is 100% a guilty pleasure. I don't even know where you could find them. Maybe on Disney Plus.
I think they are.
They are not good. But if you have the kids who love the Ewoks, they're gonna have fun with it. Except for the really scary spiders that still freak me out because I'm a spider. I'm a spider wimp.
I would have thrown a penalty flag if you had said the Star Wars prequels, because we talked off mic about the fact that those are off limits for this guilty pleasure because it's so obvious. But you found a way to get Star Wars in anyways.
I did. I will always find a
He
way.
got the Star Wars
Well
prequel.
done.
He's here anyway.
I'm going to leave you for last, Brooks. I'm going to go now. My movie is from 2012, and it's actually good, but it was also incredibly unnecessary. Did we really need a prequel to the Alien films? I don't
Yes,
think
Prometheus?
we did.
Yes.
I'm talking about Prometheus. It's my favorite Ridley Scott film. I love it. It has an amazing cast. You first get to meet the engineers. The backstory is incredible. No one talks about this film anymore. It did not do much in the box office, and it's just been completely forgotten, except by people like me who love it. And I'm
have
not
it.
wrong about this. This
I
movie's good.
almost
I
picked
have it in
that
4K
movie
and
too.
3D.
Good, Brooks.
I changed my pick from Prometheus to the Ewok Adventures.
So we agree. We agree that this is a good film and people should see it. Brooks just proved by doing a little podcast visual work that Ewoks is available on Disney Plus. So definitely make sure you check that out.
For better and worse.
Plus, how can you not love a movie like Prometheus where it explains that the whole reason we have Alien to begin with is because we killed Jesus?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you do. Again.
I just thought that movie was fantastic. I thought Ridley Scott was making a big, interesting, ambitious world, and I thought he pulled it off. And like I said, the cast, my God, Idris Elba, Charlize Theron, Noomi Rapace. What's happened to her lately? I haven't said that name in so long. I mean, such a strong cast. And not to mention Michael Fassbender as the robot. That scene where the engineer looks over and sees him and just plucks his head off. It's incredible. So mine is Prometheus from 2012. Not a huge stretch, but I think people need to be reminded about that film. Brooks, what's your guilty pleasure?
Well, council love this. It's Final Destination 5.
Oh, God, of course.
Because nothing says prequel like a movie with a 5 in the title.
I mean, yeah. Well, isn't like Saw 10 a prequel kind of like?
Right.
Yeah, Saw X, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was so funny because I saw this at like midnight at Broovies with Jimmy and Jeff.
Oh, man.
And Jeff and I just sat and giggled through the entire thing, and Jimmy hated every minute of it.
I hate every minute of it. I haven't even seen it, Brooks. I promise you. All right.
And it plays like a regular movie until it like gets to the very end, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, duh!" And then it pieces it all together, and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's a prequel."
It plays like a regular Brooks movie, but I'm not sure it plays like a regular movie.
Like a
movie.
regular entry into the franchise.
All right. So, Brooks, yours is?
Final Destination 5.
Mine is Prometheus from 2012, Ridley Scott's prequel to the Alien movies. And Adam?
2 of them, The Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, and Ewoks: The Battle for Endor.
See the Christmas one too. Why not? Those are our guilty pleasures for this episode. We're going to take one last break and come back and talk about our coming attractions. We'll be right back. We're back with you one last time on Big Movie Mouth Off, episode 11. This is our coming attractions section. Brooks, what are you excited about?
Well, this also won't surprise you because I just sent you the trailer yesterday, whether you watched it or not.
I did.
But
I did.
How can I not be excited for Imaginary? Is it March yet?
Is it really coming out in March?
Yeah, March 8th.
Wow.
I'm so excited. I thought maybe it would be January and I'd get it even faster, but maybe in between this time I can find a way to get me a Chauncey doll of my own, but we'll never know.
Tell everybody a little bit about what Imaginary is.
Well, Blumhouse, our favorite. It's a movie where it seems like a mom moves back into her childhood home and one of her daughters finds her old teddy bear in the basement that she abandoned. And because she had abandoned her, it decides to latch on to her daughter. And yeah, all hell's going to break loose.
So it's Alf and Chucky.
It looks kind of poltergeistish from the trailer.
Yeah, it actually does. It actually does.
Kind of poltergeist and Insidious.
I had to say Spielberg direct this one too.
You send me a lot of trailers for movies like this, Brooks, and I watch them all dutifully. But this one I thought I would see. I would see this one. So maybe we'll go together.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Adam, what are you looking forward to?
So there really isn't much movies coming out because of everything that's happened that I'm like Dune 2 was the one that I was like, yay. But so I'm going to go off the beaten path and go with a graphic novel.
Okay.
It is available as a webcomic, but graphic novel volume 5 of Heartstopper comes out. It was supposed to be next month. It is now coming out in January. For those who are unaffiliated, just go on Netflix, start with season 1. It is seriously the sweetest and nicest thing you'll ever see in your life that also manages to deal with very serious and real problems that people deal with without doing any kind of manufactured drama. I think my friend called it a postmodern romance, and there's only 2 books left in the entire series. So we're wrapping things up, and we know there's going to be a happy ending because that's what the author said. But this one, the journey to get there actually is interesting, unlike some other movies we talked about.
Amazing. That sounds great. My coming attraction is Zack Snyder's new movie, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire. I can't tell you what it's about. I have no idea. It looks like too much to describe in one episode of a podcast.
Zack Snyder's Star Wars.
Essentially, yeah.
I'm a Zack Snyder guy. I loved Sucker Punch. I'm not going to deny it. I am a Zack Snyder guy, so I'm very excited about this. The Part 1 throws me off a little bit. Like, just tell a contained story. You don't have to call your trilogy right out from the beginning, but I'm super excited about this. Good cast, Charlie Hunnam, Sophia Botella, really good people. It looks epic. It looks like Zack Snyder's brain just fell out of his head onto the table, and I just can't wait to see it. So, Brooks, what's your coming attraction again?
Imaginary.
Adam?
Heartstopper, Volume 5.
And I am looking forward to Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire. Before we go, guys, we have one reshoot from the last episode. I made the mistake during that guilty pleasure segment of saying that Wanted came out in 2009. It actually came out in 2008. Sorry, everybody. We like to get things right. Sometimes we don't. So close yet. So far.
It's like you dodged a bullet.
The lesson of this episode is if you're going to invest in a franchise, continue to invest in the MCU. You don't need to spend any more time in Pan Am. And if you're looking for something to really sink your teeth into, I think those Ewok movies are the way to go.
No.
All right, guys.
No.
So great to see you again. So great to talk about movies with you guys.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. Until then, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Bird.
Thank you so much for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.